So I'm not somebody that really ever complains about YouTube. I see videos out there complaining about how the site is ran, and honestly, sometimes I kind of scoff and I'm like, I think everyone's kind of overblowing things and going too far. And I personally think YouTube is like a great place for the most part. I think that, yeah, there's been issues and problems over the years, but overall, I think this platform's amazing. And for a website where there's millions of hours of content uploaded every single day, I think it's almost a miracle that we have this website running so well and functioning so well and very rarely going down, whilst also enforcing guidelines and services and all that good stuff. But that's kind of why I'm here, because sometimes there are errors, and usually I don't really care about a copyright claim, an age restriction, demonetizations and stuff like that. I've dealt with my demonetizations over the years. I still occasionally get them, and it's usually just age restrictions and copyright claims that are frustrating. But, I usually just, it's frustrating, but you move on and you just make your next video and you go about your day and you just kind of accept that when you get those things, you just got to deal with it, because there's really going to be no one to actually do anything about it, if you know what I'm saying. It's just it's so insignificant in terms of the YouTube space and everything going on. It's like YouTube just don't care, and because most of the not in the sense, not even like they're so nasty, they've just got so much going on that someone being demonetized, it's really insignificant in the grand scheme of this website being ran. And I personally understand that. I've spoken to people that work at YouTube in the past, and they're lovely and they're great, and I really do think that YouTube genuinely do want the best for this platform. But I think what frustrates me about today's issue is it's a bit more personal, I'd say. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, basically yesterday I uploaded a video titled Eugenia Cooney is officially in serious danger. And in that video, I speak about a very sensitive situation that happened with Eugenia that I'm honestly a bit unwilling to even describe. If you want to go and see it, just go and watch the video, because I don't want this video also getting age restricted. But yeah, I uploaded that video, and it was very personal to me. It was very personal because I relate to Eugenia on the opposite end of the spectrum in terms of certain disorders and stuff like that. And I made that video from a genuine place of care and empathy, and you can say what you want in terms of your opinions about Eugenia or making videos about Eugenia, but I think it was very obvious that I was coming from the approach of trying to speak to it from an empathetic standpoint of why this is terrible, but also why we should not give up and why we should still continue to speak about these things. But after I uploaded that video, it was doing really well. I think it was a 3 in 10, which if you don't know what that means, basically YouTube have a system where if you have in your last 10 uploads, it'll show you how well a video is doing out of those last 10. So out of the last 10, it was the 3rd best performing one. I thought, that's great. Everyone obviously likes views, and I was glad that a video with such an important message was doing well, at least, because in the video I was specifically stating that I want people to talk about this thing and I want a message to get out there about Eugenia, but also the people that are impacted by the story and people that genuinely suffer with the same sort of things that Eugenia or myself have gone through in the past. And I speak about some very personal stories. But then I woke up, and about an hour into being awake, I found out that the video has been not just demonetized. I can deal with the demonetization, yes, I would like to get paid for my research and actually making the video and paying people to help me with making the videos and stuff. I would like to be paid for that, of course, but, it's a very serious topic. I understand why YouTube may not want to place ads on that video. I genuinely do, and I'm not here to complain that, there's going to be no money coming from the video. That's not even in my mind. It's just more, I saw the demonetization, and I was like, that's a bit annoying, but, we'll move on with the day. But then I also noticed 18 plus age restriction, which if you don't know what that means, I don't know if someone's manually done it or if it's an AI thing in terms of YouTube's bot just saw me talking about some serious things. It's strike that down, get rid of it. But yeah, basically what an 18 plus age restriction does is you can't view that video unless you're on a YouTube account, which is somebody with their registered age above 18 plus. And that may not sound significant to you, but when that happens, any other YouTuber watching this video right now will know that the video just dies. It just dies. It's barely in recommended. It just jumps out completely. And usually around midday with a YouTube video, it starts to spike because people in your area kind of wake up. And it was doing that. But I don't know if you can see it there. It's not focusing. It's kind of, yeah, you can see the drop. You can see where where the, you know, where the I can't even speak right now. When the age restriction came in, I don't know why that was so difficult to say. You can see the drop, and there's going to be like a little flip there, go by the opposite. It's not much of a drop right now. You see the top spike, and then it goes down slightly, but then it's meant to go up, but now it's just kind of going down, and that's because of this age restriction, because, you know, it won't go into recommended, and it'll be more difficult for people to watch that don't just use YouTube accounts with their registered age on it. And as I said before, I've had age restrictions, I have, but I feel like this is just more frustrating because, for one, I know that YouTube have an 18 plus like rating system. I know that certain things don't fly on this website, and I get that. And I even saw somebody that covered this similar topic showed the clip of what I was talking about in my video to do with Eugenia, and I thought, and their video got age restricted, and I thought YouTube just don't want that clip being shown, and I thought, you know, I could kind of get that. It's a very, very sensitive clip, and I don't show the clip in my video purposefully. In fact, in the video, I'm pretty sure I say, I'm towing the line in this video because I don't want YouTube to flag this or restrict this. And obviously I knew that there was a risk, but I was just talking about headlines and describing some things here and there whilst throwing in my opinions and also just giving my personal experiences with eating. And when you watch the video, like, I implore you to just go watch the video after this, and you'll really see how baseline it is when it comes to speaking about these sensitive issues. And that was very deliberate. You know, I would love to speak about these things more in depth in my video, but I know YouTube don't want that. They're really, really sensitive when it comes to these types of things. And I think it's just kind of disappointing, and especially when you've tried to abide by the rules, because I think this is the reason I'm particularly upset is I want people to see this video so there can be a discussion, but also so there can be more of an understanding surrounding these sensitive topics, because I think there is a lack of understanding and almost to a degree a lack of empathy surrounding these topics with certain eating related issues. And sadly, we can't educate around this topic, because if we try to do that, the video is going to get age restricted and barely anyone's going to see it, and it's just going to be pointless, and it's just now effectively a completely wasted video. And I'm going to have to deal with that. I can deal with that. I'll move on to my next video. It'll be fine. But this is important to me. Like, genuinely, this is a very, very important topic. If you've followed me for years now, you'll know how much this sort of thing means to me. So to almost feel like censored by YouTube, it's just so frustrating, because I know as well, like I said at the beginning, YouTube don't deliberately want to stop conversation on their platform. I think for the most part, I know that there are great people at YouTube, but it's almost like their sensitivity surrounding trying to appease ads and, I guess, people in general has almost now cost them, because we are having an inability to have a conversation surrounding certain disorders. And it's confusing to me, because I believe I've seen YouTube speak about mental health awareness quite a lot on social media, and that was basically the entire point of the video, mental health awareness, and how basically I think people need to understand that the issues that Eugenia is dealing with isn't just a thing of she's this manipulative overlord who's trying to get views constantly and use her situation for views. You may think that, but I was trying to explain that this is all very mental related and very nuanced, and it's very complex, and that's why I was speaking about it, because I feel like it's gotten to a point of where I think people take topics like Eugenia and think that it's just regular YouTube drama of you've got a villain and then you've got somebody that isn't a villain and you're on the side of the the person that's getting attacked by the villain or something like that. But this is a very different thing. There is no villain really in this story, and I think that's why it's almost so important to speak about it, because mental health is an incredibly important thing to discuss, and I think I'm just really frustrated, and I wasn't even going to make this video. I don't know if I've ever made a video just complaining about YouTube because I'm incredibly grateful for this platform. I really am. Like, genuinely, I would not be where I am today without YouTube. And in the past, I've also like been like, I think people go too hard on YouTube. Even in the past of people like Susan, like God rest her soul, rest in peace, you know. I've always stood up for the, like Susan Wojcicki, even in the case before, being like, I think people go too overboard with YouTube, but it almost seems a bit hypocritical now to quash or squash conversations surrounding mental health when you parade the idea of having conversations surrounding mental health. And it just confuses me because I've watched so many videos out there where so many more sensitive things are discussed, and they're not just not age restricted, but they're monetized with a mid-roll every 2 minutes. That's great, get your bag, but it confuses me why I can see a YouTuber sit there scoffing a load of food whilst they speak about someone being brutally murdered. You know, someone's abuse story, someone being stalked for years and eventually brutalized. And they can sit there and order Taco Bell and eat that food. But that won't get any hits in terms of, that won't get a restriction. That won't get demonetized. That won't get taken out of the algorithm. And it's like, why is that promoted, but the actual conversation about mental health and very serious things not? I'm not even asking for a promotion. I'm more just saying, can I not be squashed in the algorithm? Can my video not be taken out and just let out to die? Because that's what's going to happen. I've admitted that now. That video, it'll be max 220k views, if not maybe 250 at a push. Maybe if I'm lucky. And, you know, again, it's not, I need to re-clarify and recalibrate. It's not just about views. It's about getting the conversation out there. And by me, as in a YouTuber with over 1 million subs, being hit like that, I think it sends out a message of, oh, we can't talk about this. And even if like, you're like, oh, even if you get age restricted, you shouldn't want to talk about it anyway. But it's like, well, it almost feels like you're talking into the void at that point because the video's not getting out there. And this is YouTube. It used to be called YouTube Broadcast Yourself. That used to be the slogan. And broadcasting yourself, you're doing it for the reason of wanting to be heard by others. I'm not broadcasting myself to watch back my videos and be like, oh, I really agree with myself. Well done, Fraser. It's like, no, I want people to watch my videos and I want people to learn, take in information, maybe enjoy themselves as well when it's not a serious topic. But this kind of goes against that whole mantra of broadcasting yourself. And I know it's not their slogan anymore, but YouTube does kind of pride itself on its like free speech and the ability to talk about very sensitive things, unless it's about this type of mental health. You know, they're cool with depression. That's the cool one now. You know, let's talk about anxiety and ADHD and depression. Oh yeah, because that's like a normal thing to talk about because, you know, in society it is a bit more normalized. It is a bit more, you know, okay to talk about. It's less taboo, but oh, that person with the mental health issues related to the eating habits, that's too much. That's got to go. And it's like, why? All of these things lead to suicidal tendencies. All of these things lead to somebody's life being in jeopardy. All of these things lead to horrible things. And it's like, why are we accept like it? It's like the phrase has been used terribly in the past, but it's like if it's either all got to be okay or none of it's okay. You know what I'm saying in terms of the conversation surrounding mental health? And it's like to age restrict and to not allow. Well, I say not allow. Obviously, the video is on YouTube. It's still up. They haven't deleted it. They haven't copyright claimed me. They haven't just deleted the video, given me a strike. And yeah, I'm grateful for that because that's basically the next stage. But please, I don't. Please don't do that. But like, I'm just making this to kind of say like, I wish there was more ability to speak about these things because I would definitely speak about them a lot more if I was able to. And I don't get why the topic of mental health surrounding eating habits is so taboo in society, not just on YouTube. And it's very, very confusing to me. I understand it can be triggering and upsetting, but so can talking about a person being stalked and brutally murdered. But I see those true crime channels with 10 plus million views on every single video. The topic of depression can be very, very triggering because yes, people will end up committing suicide in some cases. That's very triggering. The topic of conversation around anxiety can be very triggering. The topic around abuse is very triggering. But we allow it, but we don't allow these weird specific things. And I'm just like, why? And it almost feels like it like encourages more people to be put in these bad spots of with no one giving a positive or at least an empathetic message out there. And I'm not coming on here to say that I'm some beacon of hope that's changing the world with my amazing heroic YouTube videos, but I'm just more trying to hope that we can have an encouragement towards making videos talking about these things. But right now it's the opposite. And then that'll just lead to, okay, we're going to allow the whole topic to kind of fester in a way of all the bad, like, things I've heard about, like, eating. I'm trying to get around even saying the phrase of what mental health thing it is, because, you know, that could get this video restricted, which is insane. But to get, like, there's so much misinformation out there. There's so many people making just absolute bullshit up about these topics. And I just want to speak about them and be like, this is stupid, this is wrong, and we should speak about it in this way, and we should do this and do that. But we can't. And I'm like, why? Realistically, why? I don't think anyone who has a eating related issue, towing the line again, is going to necessarily be offended or upset or disappointed if a YouTuber makes a video in a positive or empathetic light about the issue that they have suffered with throughout their lifetime. And I don't even think advertisers would care, because we're in an era, going back to it, where we promote the conversation of mental health, but when it gets to those really serious taboo topics that are still taboo in today's society, oh, well, can't do that anymore. And look, I know why this is I know why this is a thing. It's still taboo in society, these topics, and YouTube are just trying to, you know, stay up to date with the times. And I imagine maybe in 10 years' time, this won't be an issue. Hopefully, I hope and I pray that will be. I don't even pray. I don't know why I say that, but, you know, I hope that it won't be an issue in 10 years' time. But now it's taboo, and, you know, they've got to keep in line with the societal norms of what's going on right now and what's considered acceptable. But I'm thinking we need to actually start having a conversation about, well, when is it gonna be acceptable to have these conversations about this very serious shit? Because I've got people in my audience that deal with these things. I deal with these things. And what you're saying to me is I can't come onto my YouTube channel and talk about my eating issues? But I can. Obviously, they're not saying I can't have the videos, but it won't get viewed by barely anyone on a site about broadcasting yourself, which is just hilarious. Because if I made a video about depression, I almost feel like YouTube may even leave a comment down below being like, well done, I'm so proud of you, or something like that. Because you occasionally see YouTube in comment sections of other YouTubers. And again, that's great, you know. Again, I think they're not deliberately trying to be a supervillain here. That's why I've never really made a YouTube complainy video, because I don't want to say YouTuber a villain. I'm almost just saying, guys, please, just like realize that it's okay to speak about these things, and maybe your rules are a bit too strict and a bit overkill. And yes, there is a problem with promoting going into the direction of getting these things. I think that's the problem here. YouTube have kind of mixed in the idea of, with their very vague rules and regulations surrounding these things with, you can't talk about this thing in general, because they're worried that it's going to promote people getting into these things. But then it's like, well, you can say that about anything out there. There's millions of creators that talk about, well, thousands that talk about murder, and they sensationalize it. There's even people that almost glorify it in a weird way of, oh, today we're speaking about the tea. Let me sip my tea and eat my fucking McDonald's mukbang and talk about this person who killed 7 families. So I don't get it. I don't get why that is considered normal, but this very normal conversation where you would speak to somebody in your day-to-day life about, you know, you speak to people about these things in real life, even as a kid, even as a teenager. Because honestly, controversial opinion, I think kids, teenagers, should be talking about these things. They should be getting educated about these things, because it causes prevention. That's something that I briefly touched on in the video. Prevention. Stopping these things from happening and having these nuanced, empathetic conversations surrounding these things helps. So putting 18 plus restrictions on videos just talking about it isn't helping anyone. It's only making things worse. It's kind of ironic, because I know these restrictions have been put in place out of a genuine place of care, but that care has almost come from an ignorant point of view of not understanding the conversation and actually leading to more harm on people out there due to the lack of prevention and education surrounding these topics. It's just so frustrating, and I could rant about this for so long because I feel like the rules and regulations on this site can sometimes just be fucking mind-blowing. Because they're there for real reasons. I get it. I get the apocalypse and why that happened and the rules they had to, and the sensitivity they had to apply. But it's like, in this case, it just doesn't make any sense. And I feel like they need to just, I'm not saying completely remove all the rules to do with the topic, but maybe just say, well, you can talk about these things and have discussions about these things, same way as you could make a video like, there's news YouTubers out there that talk about terrorism, and they're getting monetized because they're just fleetingly talking about a thing that happened, and I agree with that. They're basically journalists and they should be paid for their journalism. I'm not claiming to be a journalist, but these other people should be. But they're also talking about sensitive things that could trigger people. There's people out there in countries that have suffered the things that they're talking about, and they'll see those videos and it could trigger them, understandably so. But those videos are still monetized and barely age restricted. Some might be, but most of them from what I see aren't, because I watch those videos. But every time I watch a video talking about Eugenia, CUNY, going back to it, there sometimes is an age restriction, in particular when we're actually speaking about the nitty-gritty details. And even in my video, I wasn't really that detailed, deliberately, but still, here we are. And yeah, I'm going to kind of wrap things up, because obviously I could just keep on going. I could keep on going forever, you know. I've not even taken a breather, I don't think, for about 20 minutes. But basically, what I'm trying to say here, to conclude my thoughts, I don't have a problem with YouTube. I think YouTube are genuinely, and I'm not just trying to suck up to my employer right now, but I think they're great. I think they do some great things. They make mistakes now and again. Their AI ad system is a bit weird. I've had some conversations about that with people, and they're open to dialogue about it, and that's great. But this, I just think they're wrong on. And I think it's okay to say to someone, even if it is your employer technically, that they're wrong. And I'm saying that not from a point of wanting YouTube to be cancelled or ads to pull out. I don't want that. Why would I want that? I want this website to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and to have a load of amazing content creators grow. And even the ones that I've briefly criticized in this video without saying their names, you know, I want the best for them. I do. Because, it's content creation. And as long as they're not harming anyone, as long as they're just providing entertainment that isn't dangerous, then great, great. But I feel like the core foundation of YouTube was originally talking, especially about some, yes, serious things. But now it's almost like we're stopping that in a weird way of trying to keep people safe, but unintentionally making people now unsafe by preventing education and understanding. So yeah, YouTube, if you're watching this, probably not. This video is probably not going to get any traction because it's just a rant video, and I don't really blame someone for not watching this, but I just needed to come on here and just speak about this because, I've sent some emails out. I don't really think it's going to do anything, and I don't care if my video doesn't do well. I'd like the restriction to be removed so people can click on it and watch it easily, but I doubt that's going to happen. Please change it if you're watching this YouTube, but yeah, I more just want the future of conversation surrounding these topics to be allowed fully, not age restricted, but fully allowed and actually promoted, just like we promote the conversation surrounding men's mental health and depression. Because funnily enough, we are in Men's Mental Health Month right now, and there's so much debate around it constantly, and I think it's fucking stupid, because yeah, there are terrible men out there, but yeah, we should think about men's mental health. I think there has definitely been some taboo things in the past. It used to be taboo for men to cry and to speak about things, and I think it's confusing because this whole thing will be promoted, but when it comes to a specific type of mental health, can't do that. Leave that for 10 years time when it's okay. It's like, guys, what the fuck are we doing here? We need to change this, and I hope YouTube are listening to me now and understand I'm not doing this as I hate YouTube, I love YouTube, but they're wrong, and I just hope this changes. So if you could, do me a favor, share this video. I know you probably won't, but if you could, it really mean a lot to me, because honestly, this video is arguably more important than my original video, because this actually is about the conversation just surrounding the entire topic in general and the restrictions around it. So if you could just make videos or share this video, it would mean a lot to me. I don't even care if you like it. Comment your thoughts down below there. That always does actually mean a lot to me, because I like to hear what people have to think. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Another main channel video will be coming out soon. yeah, I don't think I'll be doing a rant video like this for a while, because I could do a lot of them, but it would just kind of get boring and lose meaning. So yeah, I will see you guys in the next one, and bye bye.